Brett Favre making sure everybody fired up for this game today as he tries to go to 5-0 for the first time in his career. And Brad Childress saying if you want to be good, you have to be good every week, regardless of the opponent. The Vikings a perfect 4-0 with wins at Cleveland and Detroit and home with the 49ers and the Packers. And Steve Spagnuolo still looking for his first win as a head coach in the National Football League with losses at Seattle and Washington, home to Green Bay, and a loss at San Francisco. So Josh Brown, who has had one touchback this year, kicking off to Percy Harvin, who has run one back, the rookie from Florida. Game on. And it'll be a touchback as the Viking offense starts out at the 20-yard line. Brett Favre starting his 296th straight game. 1992 took over as a starter in every game available to start for his team. He has done that. And on the offensive line, one change. Rookie tackle Phil Lodeholt out with an ankle injury, so Artis Hicks steps in for him. And the good thing is that Artis Hicks has plenty of experience, was a starter for the Philadelphia Eagles when they went to the Super Bowl. Adrian Peterson in the backfield on 1st and 10. Pass thrown to Sidney Rice, and he hauls it in. Up for a first down as the Ram defense, and Minnesota will tell you the front seven of this Ram defense are very impressive. Chris Long leading the defensive line in tackles. He hasn't had any sacks yet, but that's a product of what's happened with their team so far this year. Those numbers will come. Rookie James Laurinaitis calling the defensive signals, and James Hall is in on that defensive line. He has 2 sacks for the Rams. Favre again to throw. Quick pass to Peterson. And Adrian Peterson across the 40-yard line. Ron Bartell and James Laurinaitis making the tackle. And what we're seeing early, Chris, is the Minnesota Vikings calling this game in reverse a bit. Most people figure, hey, the Vikings, you want to establish Adrian Peterson on the ground early. Brett Favre has thrown the first 2 plays. The second one, a screen to Peterson. That way they're going to try and loosen up the Rams by throwing the ball and then come back and hit them with the run game later. And look at how Adrian Peterson has improved as a pass catcher. They want him more involved in that aspect of the game. He is early today. 2nd down 1 for Minnesota. It is Peterson who has a first down, pushing past the 45 up to the 46-yard line. And Brad Childress said that we know everybody lines up against us, and the first priority is stop Adrian Peterson in the running game. And that's what everyone has to do. You would rather see the ball in the air, even with it being Brett Favre, because more bad things can happen when the ball is thrown. But it's still a difficult task to stop Adrian Peterson. Doesn't matter if there's 7, 8, 9 in the box with how violent a runner he is. That's why he's number 1 in attempts, and he gets it done. You see the 5 touchdowns, and Peterson stays in the game on first down for the Vikings. That's Rice in motion on the right side of Favre. Adrian gets it. And this time the Ram defense, led by Will Witherspoon from his weak side linebacker spot, there to make the tackle, bringing up a 2nd down. And the Rams did get 8 in the box here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A whole bunch of guys in there trying to take up the space and take away the running lanes from Adrian Peterson. They did a nice job on that one, holding him to about a 2-yard gain. Peterson checks out, averaging 4.9 yards a carry coming into the game. And an empty backfield for Brett Favre on 2nd down. Rams threatening pressure, additional pressure. Chester Taylor who gets up. Favre to throw for Rice. In and out of his hands, incomplete. That was for correction. Rice had it, slipped through his hands, and that'll bring up a 3rd down. Sidney Rice ends up sitting down at the end of this route, and Brett Favre actually is taking him to where the open space is, and he had to get his body in motion after he had stopped it, thus the incompletion. See, there was an open spot there, and that's where Favre took him, but Rice had already sat down on the route and wanted the ball right there. 3rd down for this Ram defense. The Vikings need 8. Complete inside the 35 is Harvin all the way down to the 30-yard line. Percy Harvin, the rookie from Florida, makes a nice grab for Brett Favre.
The Minnesota Vikings offensive line gave up 9 sacks in their first 3 games, 0 in their last game, and they start off terrific today. Versus the pressure, Leonard Little, the all-time sack master of St. Louis, can't get to Favre until after he's thrown the football for the first down.
Peterson checks back in, 1st and 10 from the 30. Favre was virtually untouched in that Monday night game. Schenker, the tight end on the right side, as Peterson carries and has nowhere to go. At least gets a yard out of it, maybe. So the opening drive for Favre and the Vikings, they march from their own 20 inside the Ram 30.
And in the pregame, we talked with some coaches of the Minnesota Vikings, and they were talking about how well the Rams have played on the front 7 on defense this year. They had a lot of respect for them. We saw why. Gary Gibson, number 71, Clifton Ryan, number 95, the defensive tackles, helping stack up that play.
2nd down 9. Favre rolls to his right, throws. Again, it's Percy Harvin who hangs on inside the 10, inside the 5. Percy Harvin goes out of bounds at about the 5-yard line. He, according to some Viking players, has the best hands on the team, and they want to get the right matchups because he's not afraid to go down the middle, and he can break away from defensive backs.
Harvin in the slot, number 12, running the flag route away from number 31, Justin King. But look at Favre on the move with a perfectly thrown ball. Now, how about Harvin's strength after the catch? How many guys did he bounce off of? I counted 4, and still got into the end zone, except he stepped out.
Peterson and Taylor in the backfield. Adrian Peterson has it. Adrian Peterson has a Viking touchdown. Sold out in St. Louis, some 63,000. And yes, there are some Viking and Brett Favre fans here.
They didn't break them down with the run as much as Brett Favre's arm loosened things up, and look at coming at you. Hutchinson, number 76. They're all pro guard, leading the escort for Adrian Peterson to get to the corner and get in the end zone.
And Hutchinson playing with a bad back the last couple of weeks. He missed some practice time at pregame warm-up, said he felt well enough to give it a go as Ryan Longwell boots the extra point. Vikings strike first. Working relationship comfortable. Favre 4 out of 5 in that opening drive, covering 80 yards. Peterson finished it, and the rookie Percy Harvin, a couple of big catches for the Vikings as Longwell boots it, and Danny Amendola, who has a 42-yard kickoff return this year, lets it roll through the end zone. As the Viking defense took the field, there's Jared Allen, and what a show he put on Monday night. Richie Incognito already warning him, hey, don't try that here in my house.
You know, if those guys were a coin, they'd be the same coin, same side, don't you think?
A battle of the trenches worth keeping an eye on. 1st and 10. Steven Jackson in the backfield for Kyle Bowler. Bowler rolls, throws, and has his tight end, Randy McMichael, high-stepping into Viking territory. McMichael came in with 10 catches, starting all 4 games for the Rams.
This is the old, what they call triple sideline type route. You run a guy deep for a clear out, then you run 2 routes to the sideline. All right, and here's Randy McMichael. They're coming up without a huddle after a big first play.
A little bit of a hurry-up, something that the Vikings did not expect from Kyle Bowler in this Ram offense. Jackson gets it on 1st and 10 and has room to the 40. Steven Jackson, who also has 12 catches this year, came in averaging 4.5 yards a carry.
And what a nice start for not just him, but Randy McMichael, who suffered through a case of the drops a couple of games ago. So getting off early for him has been terrific.
2nd down 5. Vikings with a 7-0 lead. Jackson carries again, hit hard and stopped short of the first down. E.J. Henderson making the tackle there. Why the no huddle to open things?
Well, I think it's to try and jumpstart this team. I think when you're 0-4 and you're taking out a Vikings team that's coming off of a big emotional Monday night game, you might want to come at them with a little more tempo early. See if you can get them going, maybe tire them out a little bit, and see if they want to keep pace with you.
And those big guys on the field have not allowed a 100-yard rusher in 27 games. That Vikings defense. Third and short. Jackson tries to get it and fights hard. Looks like he got the first down. There's a shortage for a number of reasons for the Rams here. On first down, Bowler, the pass. He tried to throw it. And the Vikings have it. That's Jared Allen. That's a touchdown, Vikings. Touchdown, Minnesota. Kevin Williams knocked the ball loose from Kyle Bowler, and Jared Allen picked it up. Was it a fumble?
Ball came out of his hand before he got into a throwing motion. So this play should stand. This is not a forward pass. Ball's gone.
Challenge flag is out.
Yeah, it's good to challenge it, but I think the Vikings will stand with a touchdown on this one. Empty hand rule comes into play for the quarterback. All right, watch again. Watch the ball out of Kyle Bowler's hands before he gets into his throwing motion. So now you have the empty hand. Ball's free, forced by Kevin Williams, who puts him on the ground, and then Jared Allen. I think he's got plenty of energy from Monday night. You know, they were worried about, hey, would they have any lethargy after that, the emotion. So far, we haven't seen any evidence of that from the Vikings.
Yeah, Jared Allen said, I'm not going to take myself out of the game.
St. Louis is challenging the ruling on the field of a fumble.
In St. Louis, the Kyle Bowler fumble under review. Here's Don Carey.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. The quarterback lost possession of the ball. St. Louis is charged with their first team timeout.
So Bowler turns it over, and this was telltale.
Yeah, watch, see? Ball's out of his hand before the throwing motion, and then Kevin Williams knocks him down, and Allen picks it up. That play right there, a microcosm of why the Rams are 0-4. Had a nice drive going and hurt themselves.
Team with turnovers, and you see what Spagnuolo is up against. The defense trying to do its part. The offense, they're not good enough to make mistakes like that. As Longwell adds the extra point. There's a lot of ways this Viking team can beat you.
Yeah, they're very good, obviously. The three phases of the game: score on offense, score on defense. The Vikings epitomize that, and then the special teams gets added now too.
So easy to see why one team is winless and the other trying to go to 5-0 as Danny Amendola waits for the return. And he has an opportunity here. At the 23-yard line for Allen, his third career touchdown. Kenneth Darby splits out as a receiver for Bowler. The quick pass to Steven Jackson, who's over there as well, and he goes nowhere. Now, penalty flag is down. Edwards with the stop for Minnesota. Loss of 1 yard on the play. And we'll check on the call.
It's obvious the Rams want to get the ball in Steven Jackson's hands a lot today.
Tripping. Offense, number 68, 10-yard penalty. First down.
So along with the miscues, the Rams the most penalized team in the NFL, so that puts them further in a hole.
And that one goes against Richie Incognito, who says he has a target on his back. You know, Steve Spagnuolo says he plays with passion. Many other people say he plays a little bit reckless. A number of penalties that cost his team 2 personal fouls in the Seattle game in the season opener.
How can you be incognito with tattoos like that?
Not a chance.
Spagnuolo needs something out of his offense. For Kyle Bowler, this is his second straight start. Missed all of 2008 with a shoulder injury when he was with the Baltimore Ravens. Signed here as a free agent. Mark Bolger did throw this week. He's available to play as Jackson carries on first down. And the offensive line for the Rams, Adam Goldberg starting at the right tackle spot. Jason Smith is available with that knee injury to play either right or left if they need it.
Yeah, and I think they really like his progress so far, but the injury has kept him off the field in recent weeks.
Donnie Avery and Keenan Burton, the receivers, on second down and 19, trailing 14-0. It's an inside run, this time to the fullback, Mike Carney. Good yardage. It'll bring up third to about 10 or 11.
Mike Carney carried the football?
Yes, the ex-Saint. Thought he was there to block. On the defensive line, you've already seen enough of Jared Allen, whether it was Monday night or today, and E.J. Henderson taking in the defensive signals in the middle.
Yeah, he's their spiritual leader on defense as well as their physical leader. Always in and around the action, always around the football.
3rd and 11 for Bowler and the Rams. Pass is batted down at the line of scrimmage, and that'll force a punt. We'll see Donnie Jones, who has been one of the bright spots for the Rams this year.
And Chris, look at the Vikings. Strictly a 4-man rush coming at you. And when you can't get to the quarterback, what do? You get your hands up in the passing lanes, and Kevin Williams, 2 big plays already early, helping force the fumble that turned into a touchdown, and now batting away the 3rd down pass.
Jones with a net average of 42 yards a kick. Jamar Johnson back to return. Renard inactive. Jamar did a nice job on Monday night stepping in. And has it from his 30. Run down short. Here in St. Louis, Jared Allen gets a touchdown on a run back of a fumble. Adrian Peterson scores. And it's 14-0. Vikings have the football from their own 34-yard line. Peterson in the backfield with Brett Favre. Brett under pressure, and he goes down. The Ram defense with the safety. Neshimago Atagwe coming in, gets the sack.
Well done, because the Rams essentially had 10 guys within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage. And Atagwe comes free because Tahi, number 38, isn't able to pick him up in pass protection. Well done by O.J. Atagwe.
Probably the Rams' best defensive and most complete player. 2nd down, 14. Chester Taylor in the backfield. He carries and gets across the 35-36-yard line, where that'll bring up 3rd down. The Ram defense has done a nice job this year, stretching and at some point having to snap without a lot of production from the offense. But in most games, they've been able to keep their team in there, at least for the first half.
They've played sound football. They've played with passion and intensity. And just as you pointed out, Chris, they've kept their team in positions to make plays. If they had a chance offensively, they would be in more ball games.
Leonard Little wanting the crowd to be a factor on 3rd down. For Harvin. Percy Harvin could not hold on. The ball was there. He had his hands on it. It'll bring up a punting situation for the Vikings.
Now this Harvin, number 12 in the slot. Watch Craig Dahl, number 43. He's got a beat on the football, but what Brett Favre did was just say, I'm throwing it farther than anyone else. Go get it, Percy Harvin, and they almost connected. The coverage was good, but I think Craig Dahl was thinking, how could he throw it that far? He should know better because it's Brett Favre.
Chris Kluwe, who did a great job on Monday night, pinning the opposition inside the 10 with a boot here. Amendola fumbles on the end, and a penalty flag comes out. Looked like the Rams got it back. So we'll check on the flag, and we'll check on the official recovery here. As the Ram defense stops Minnesota's offense.
Thought I saw a preliminary call for an illegal block.
And it looked like getting the football back for the Rams after Amendola fumbled was Bradley Fletcher.
During the kick, illegal block in the back, return team, number 36, half the distance to the goal, 1st down.
And the Viking defense, the offense on the opening drive did its part, and the defense put up some points.
Yeah, both sides scoring. Brett Favre leading them downfield. Adrian Peterson with the payoff on the run. And then the forced fumble and return by Jared Allen put the 14 points on the board. And now the Vikings defense has great field position against the Rams to start this drive.
Steven Jackson right behind Bowler. Steven in his own end zone. And goes down fast. Penalty flag as E.J. Henderson made the stop. He's all over the place. The run stopper on this defense, Henderson, came in as the leading tackler for the Vikings.
Holding. Defense, number 93. 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
It's on Kevin Williams. It'll be a first down automatically.
Not a call you see very often against a defender, especially on a run play.
Did you see it?
I'm still trying to pick it up. The only thing I could think was, did it look like they said 93, but it looked more like number 90, Fred Evans, maybe. But let's take a look. I'm having a hard time finding that one.
Fred Evans, the run stopper, rotates in on that defensive line. Bowler has time. Throws off the hands of Randy McMichael from the 11. Second down 10. Steven Jackson carries. Gets into the secondary before Henderson brings him down. It'll be third down. Steven Jackson talked about Antoine Winfield when he told his teammates, take him out. I'll get past the safety. I can make things happen. That corner can tackle. Yeah,
you don't hear that very often when you have that kind of respect for the tackling ability of a corner, but Antoine Winfield plays like an old school corner. Cover and tackle well, and it's interesting to make that comment. Take him out. I'll take my chances with the safety.
And for Jackson, 367 yards rushing coming in, trying to be the first Ram running back to have 5 straight seasons of 1,000 yards or more. On third down, Bowler throws and has Donnie Avery. It's a first down up near the 40. Donnie Avery came in. He had some hamstring problems during the week.
And watch the Rams use the mobility of Kyle Bowler on a boot pass. Get him outside the pocket. Donnie Avery down into the corner. Ball's well thrown. First down for the Rams.
Just across the 39-yard line, Avery, the leading receiver with 13 catches coming in. Remember, LaRon Robinson, their top receiver, injured and out for the year. Blitz picked up, pass complete. That's Keenan Burton, who has another Ram first down. So the Rams have moved the ball on this Viking offense early.
And that's what has to happen for the Rams, because everyone's going to stack the box against Steven Jackson, try and take him away. So in this situation, when they blitz like this, and you've got the pass play on, you've got to win the individual battles outside. And that's exactly what Keenan Burton does. Catches the pass, cuts back inside, gets a little help from Danny Amendola, and picks up another first down.
Jackson to the outside, running hard, down to the 36-yard line. Cedric Griffin making the stop. Remember, this has been the toughest defense to run against since 2006.
Yeah, not many people make their day running the football against the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, it's been, what, 27 games since individual players rushed for over 100 yards against the Vikings?
It'll be fun to watch Steven Jackson try to outdo Adrian Peterson, as Leslie Frazier's defense hopes for a stop on second and short. Sam Gatto checks in the backfield. He gets it. Tough to tell. Behind Jackson is Gatto, and then Kenneth Darby. You'll see him sometimes for the Rams in that backfield.
One of the few places that the Rams have depth is at the tight end position. Look right there. There's Billy Badgema, number 47. He was brought in to be a blocker. Number 84 is Randy McMichael. They double team to the outside. There's enough of a gap there for Gatto to pick up the first down.
We might see more two tight end in the offense as Gatto remains in the backfield. Bowler throws to Samkon Gatto. Gets down to about the 30-yard line, where it'll be second down for the Rams. They have not scored in the first quarter this year.
I like the play. I like the call. I would just rather have Steven Jackson on the field to run the play. He's their best player. If you're going to run the screen game and you want to hand it to people, I understand give him a blow, and he probably needed one at that point, but I'd want him out there as much as possible touching it.
Well, they may have heard you. He checks back in on second down from just above the 30 of Minnesota. Keenan Burton has it as a first down. and goes down inside the 25, but Dia Williams makes the stop. So the Ram offense moving the football. During the timeout, Steven Jackson working the official.
Yeah, I think he was trying to tell Don Carey that there's a little-known codicil in the NFL officiating charter that says a premier back should not have to run against 8- or 9-man boxes.
Well, that's something to talk to Kyle Bowler about. Open things up a little bit. Jackson in there on 1st and 10 from inside the 25, trailing 14-0 as we begin the second quarter. Steven carries, gets a couple of yards. Billy Bajula in, the blocking tight end, to help on that situation, bringing up a second down as Randy McMichael and Daniel Fells check in at that tight end spot.
Yeah, they tried to run that play. Keenan Burton actually came inside, their wide receiver, to help with the blocking. Run the same type of a play if you would like. If you're able to use a tight end in there, I think you get a little bit extra push, a little more oomph. But it's really difficult to run against the Williams wall of Pat Williams and Kevin Williams inside for the Vikings.
Terrific balance so far for the Ram offense. Quick pass, low, but a nice, looked like he scooped it up cleanly, and he did. Keenan Burton for the catch. Both Burton and Avery had hamstring issues during the week and missed practice time.
And Antoine Winfield would like to dispute this call. He thinks that the ball hit the ground. Let's take a look. But I think he caught it clean. Well done by Keenan Burton, getting both hands underneath the football and then bringing it up into his body and bringing up a 3rd and short.
Went from the 3rd receiver on the team to a starter after the injury to LaRon Robinson. 3rd down for Bowler. Bowler's going to keep it. His helmet comes off right there at the 15-yard line. Greenway and Henderson wanted to make sure he didn't get that first down.
You notice the Rams decided not to try and run it inside with a power set against the stout Vikings defensive front. That's what they love, so they bring Bowler out with a little misdirection action, run pass. They took away the passing option, and he paid for it with a big hit. Look at Chad Greenway there, but the first one,
so now we got
Henderson.
We got a big 4th down, and the Rams are going for it. Bowler keeps, powers forward with 2 tight ends in. And it is a 1st down.
And that was a nice combination of really good push up front by the offensive line, but even more determined quarterback sneak running by Kyle Bowler. Gets low, keeps his feet churning, but look at the push he got up front from his big guy, Jason Brown, in the middle, number 60, most prominent.
Steven Jackson has room inside the 5, down to the 2-yard line.
Jason Brown, the center. Watch right here. Watch what he does in controlling the 3 technique. The defensive tackle on his nose, Pat Williams. See how he handles him? That gives Steven Jackson the chance to get to the 2nd and 3rd level. Beautiful job by Jason Brown against one of the premier run stuffers in the league.
2 tight ends on 1st and goal. Steven Jackson. Ball is loose. And the Vikings have it. It's Jared Allen again. 2 quarters, 2 fumble recoveries.
How do you stall a great drive? Watch the push inside here. Watch number 94, Pat Williams. All right, he gets through, gets great push, and he's even being held by Jacob Bell. Gets a hand on Steven Jackson, and the ball comes free. But before Jared Allen recovers the ball for the Vikings, watch on the handoff from Bowler to Jackson. He never has it clean. See, the ball's already starting to come out there. Never able to get a full grasp of it. Ball's on the ground. Vikings have the football.
Steven Jackson still looking for his first touchdown this year. A 90-yard drive, more than 7.5 minutes and nothing. So Adrian Peterson in the backfield for the Vikings on 1st down. Adrian Peterson outside near the 20.
Chris, in the pregame show, our guys were talking about Adrian Peterson needing to take less hits to extend his career. You don't have to run over everyone all the time. Maybe he heard them, because sometimes Adrian Pierce would just take it up right there and try and run over a Tagway 21 or Bartell 24. Instead, he gives him a little juke and gets to the sidelines and doesn't take the direct hit.
His 5th carry in the game, a 15-yard pickup. Quick pass to Harvin. Brought down right there at the 20-yard line, and a good tackle by Craig Dahl, who's from Mankato, Minnesota, playing the safety spot. Had a concussion last week and is back in there for the Rams.
And they like him. Very versatile, can play both safety spots, and does a nice job because they rush Justin King off of the edge as their nickel guy. And so Dahl had to cover man-to-man against Percy Harvin. No easy task, and he came from a long way and made a nice open field tackle.
Ram defense stopped this offense the last time out. Here they have a 2nd and 9. Peterson stopped right again at the 20. Leonard Little in there. Leonard Little, the only remaining member of that 99 Super Bowl team, and the Rams in their throwback jerseys from 10 years ago when they won the Super Bowl against the Titans.
And what a year that was. You know, your partner Trent Green was slated to be the quarterback on that team. Unfortunately suffered a knee injury in preseason. Kurt Warner, who no one had heard of at that time, jumped in, and the rest is history.
Intercepted. James Laurinaitis inside the 30, dancing around at the 25. Rams have the football. Chester Taylor made the stop. He grew up a Viking fan in Plymouth, Minnesota. Said he wasn't a fan of Favre because the Packers used to beat his Vikings.
This is the thing that Brett Favre has avoided for the most part this season. The interception. And on that one, into coverage. And James Laurinaitis does a nice job on the drop, plucks it out of the air, and then tries to channel his high school pullback days again.
2nd interception for Brett Favre this year. From the 25, 1st down for Bowler. Jackson carries after his fumble down around the goal line. He may have a yard. And Tyrell Johnson in his 2nd year from the safety spot, coming up to make the stop.
And I think the Rams are going to have to think about pushing the ball downfield a little bit, because that was Tyrell Johnson, number 25, the safety, making the tackle. He was right up on the line of scrimmage as the handoff was being executed. They've got to force these guys back a little bit in order to create some run space for Steven Jackson.
Jackson splits out wide right as a receiver. For Fells, incomplete. Off the hands of his tight end, who had a couple of touchdown catches when the Rams had their best offensive output in a loss to Green Bay that was here in the Dome.
And they put Jackson all the way wide to attract some attention, and then they run Fells inside against the safety Johnson to try and create a one-on-one matchup, and they had it there. The ball's just thrown a little bit too far, and Daniel Fells has been one of the best receivers for the Rams in the early going.
In fact, Kyle Bowler said he reminds him a little bit of Todd Heap, the Raven. He has soft hands on 3rd and 9. Pass is complete. Down around the 10-yard line to Fells. Those hands soft and secure for a Ram 1st down.
Nice job by Randy McMichael. He's going to clear this way and open things up in the middle for Fells. See that? Great job. McMichael just takes the ball up, takes it down the seam, and then right in the middle is Fells going into the vacated area for the pickup of the 1st down.
From inside the 10, it's 1st and goal. Bowler keeps. Kevin Williams made the stop. Not sure what that was.
That had to be quarterback draw. That did not look like a busted play because of the way Kyle Bowler took it immediately. Watch as he catches it, takes a little hop step to set the blocking. Now he's going. That's not a busted play. It's a designed quarterback draw.
And because of the mobility of Bowler, they put in some running plays, but why would you call that here on first down?
No, we've had Bowler now in back-to-back drives on key plays, taking the ball himself with not much success.
Second down goal for the tight end, incomplete. That was Randy McMichael. He's had a few go off his hands, so now it's a third down.
It's nice coverage by Benny Sapp, the nickelback from Minnesota. Able to get into his zone, read the quarterback, and break on the football.
So what do you look for here?
Well, they like the tight ends. I mean, it's obvious that they like those guys. That's where Kyle Bowler has a comfort zone. But let's see also, because now you're splitting out Steven Jackson into a slot here.
Pass is intended for Jackson, and that'll bring up a fourth down.
You don't split Steven Jackson out into a slot unless you really intend to get the football to him. Not often will he be a total decoy. If he's a decoy, he would be split out here where Donnie Avery is. Otherwise, you want him inside working against a safety or a linebacker, working against Sapp, the nickelback. Didn't have the success they wanted.
Play selection could be questioned in that series after they had a nice drive and a first and goal inside the 10, and now a field goal attempt by Josh Brown of 29 yards. And the kick is good. The rookie from Ohio State with the interception set up the field goal. James Laurinaitis, of course, his father, the Animal, the wrestler.
Yes, who teamed with Hawk, the scourge of professional wrestling as a tag team.
And Percy Harvin ready to return, the first-round pick out of Florida, who's been busy from the receiver spot. Josh Brown boots it. It bounces to Harvin. He's got room outside, brought down short of the 30. A penalty flag on the back end of the play as Quincy Butler ran him out of bounds. We'll check the call. After an impressive opening drive by the Viking offense, they have stalled against the Ram defense led by Steve Spagnuolo.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, horse collar. Number 36 of the kicking team, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Pro Bowler Steve Hutchinson playing with a bad back. They brought in Ryan Cook in short yardage situations, but he's been in most of the game for Brett Favre with this Viking offense on 1st and 10. Favre has it. Looked like he wanted to go deep. Goes to Harvin inside the 40. Catch is made. It's a Viking first down. Brett Favre now 6 out of 9 so far, and the 4th catch of the game for Harvin already.
And how about the veteran understanding of what this offense can give you? Because Brett Favre is open wide. He could just go ahead and run for about 5 yards there, but with patience, he knows Percy Harvin is going to break to the sideline and is able to deliver it for a bigger play downfield. The key for the Vikings now, holding their intensity. The intensity they started the game with, up 14 to begin.
Going deep for Berrien. Out of bounds, and they're checking on Harvin, the medical staff. Over on the sideline, Bartell with Bernard Berrien to bring up 2nd down 10. Adrian Peterson has rushed 6 times for 29 yards so far. He has the touchdown run. And, of course, Jared Allen, the 52-yard run back of the fumble to give Minnesota the 14 points. Harvin also suffers from migraine headaches. It's something that's been bothering him since age 10, goes in and out. As tough as he is for a guy about 5'10", 5'11", Brett Favre likes the way he goes across the middle. Batted in the air. It looks like Favre came down with it. The very first pass he ever threw in the NFL was one that he caught because it was batted back in the air. Back in the early 90s.
And how about watch what Brett Favre's doing, because your first impulse as a quarterback is if it's in the air like this, go knock it down so there's no interception. But it bounced off the back of number 74, Bryant McKinney, into the arms of Brett Favre. So his first completion as a Packer that way, and now as a Viking, history repeats itself.
Clifton Ryan batted the pass, 3rd down. Pass complete. And a nice grab by Chester Taylor, Ryan Longwell. The kick is up there. It's out there. And it is good there. So a 17-3. Hope you're enjoying the NFL on Fox from St. Louis, where James Laurinaitis and the Ram defense have a lot of things to worry about. From Favre to Peterson, he has an interception. The Vikings, with Brett Favre celebrating his 40th birthday yesterday, now with a 14-point lead. Danny Amendola from the goal line. Amendola gets up near the 30 and no flags.
Plenty of playoff experience for the Yankees.
Jackson on first down. Might lose a yard. Benny Sapp, the former Kansas City Chief.
You know what happens? Because the Vikings are so strong with their defensive front, it allows them to walk up extra people, whether it's a linebacker or a secondary player. Benny Sapp, the nickelback, walks up to the line of scrimmage unaccounted for, slips underneath, and makes the tackle.
So a second and a long 10. Rams have yet to really take a shot downfield. Pass to Fells. Gets near the first down marker. He's been the go-to guy. Cedric Griffin runs him out of bounds.
You make a good point, Chris, that they haven't really taken a shot yet. I know they're worried about the pass rush of the Vikings. All right. Two, they want to make sure Kyle Bowler is in rhythm, has some confidence, so they want good, safe throws like the one we just saw. But I think at some point they need to max protect and take Donnie Avery, number 17, and run him as fast and as far as they can and heave it down there and see if they can get a big play.
And Avery goes to the right side for Bowler on first down. Again, they're going to run Steven Jackson. There was nowhere to go, and he just survived for maybe a yard.
He makes some of the best one-yard runs you'll see because he's like Walter Payton. He does not die easily. All right? Watch the run. Jackson, the first guy's there. Look at that, number 92, Jamie Mitchell. And then it takes a host of guys to get him down. All that for barely a yard, not even a yard.
And he's one of the best at yards after contact, along with Adrian Peterson. Pass is in and out of the hands of Donnie Avery, and that protection was there that you talked about. The throw was a little off and the catch was not made.
And those are the plays that unfortunately you have to make when you're struggling. Because when you're struggling, while this is a difficult catch, it's one you have to make to help your team get started. And that's what they need from Donnie Avery right there. You know, you don't want to criticize a tough catch, but at the same time, when your team's struggling, the coaches say, you know, we need those. You have to make it.
So it is 3rd and 9 for Bowler and Avery. Quick pass to Jackson. Steven Jackson with a lot of running room. Inside the 35.
Got to give credit there to Pat Shurmur for this play call, the offensive coordinator, because watch Steven Jackson, number 39, coming right at you. Chips off of Jared Allen, the pass rusher, and goes to the vacated area, and then rambles downfield for a big gainer before Tyrell Johnson confronts him in the secondary.
And Shurmur from the Eagles, and it was Steven Jackson who said, I'm the same guy, Correll Buckhalter and Brian Westbrook all rolled into one.
We can use him displaced. We can use him to run the football. He's a 3-down back.
1st and 10. Here he goes on first down. He's got room. Keenan Burton out there trying to block for him. He gets near the first down.
Steven Jackson gets all the credit for this one, but watch the guys up front occupying the big defensive front for the Vikings. Look at Alex Barron, number 70, among others, and Keenan Burton gets in front of Cedric Griffin, but Steven Jackson has eyes for the first down marker.
10-yard pickup, his 13th carry. He has 50 yards, and Alex Barron, who was benched last week, back in the lineup, said, I'm over it. I've got a job to do. Sam Concato carries to the outside. Looks like another Ram first down.
This Rams offensive line, Chris, is doing a really nice job on this drive. Watch the left side. They found something they like on the left side. Watch these guys over here. They're taking care of everything. Randy McMichael, number 84, sets the corner. Then Richie Incognito, 68, pulls around. Gatto reads it, sees that the hole is to the outside, and picks up another first down.
Gatto remains in the game. It's a first down. Inside the 10. The last two drives, the Rams have moved the ball. One ended in a field goal, the other on Steven Jackson's second fumble lost for the year.
You've made this point throughout the game. They've moved the ball well on offense.
Rams' third straight drive inside the 10.
Yeah, and they've come away relatively empty all day long. They have to capitalize here. Watch for Fells, number 46. He's a target the bowler likes.
That is Fells. Ball comes out. Vikings have it right into the hands of E.J. Henderson. Third turnover for the Rams.
They have moved the ball up and down the field all day against one of the better defenses in the NFL. And this is why they are not scoring more points. When given opportunities, they've given it right back to them. Second straight time inside the 10-yard line, they've given it up with a fumble. Nice hit by Chad Greenway, popping it free, and E.J. Henderson, number 56, on the spot for the ball popping in the air. Greenway playing at a Pro Bowl level this season.
And Fells looked like he was protecting the football.
That was a nice hit, but what popped it free was the hand on the other side punching through the ball carrier holding it.
So the Ram defense once again on the spot. Penalty, or the whistle blows, I should say. The play clock ran out.
Delay game. Offense, number 4, half the distance to the goal. First down.
Chad Greenway has 4 takeaways himself this year, creating one.
And look at the play. See the hand? As he shoots through on the tackle to secure it, that popped the ball free as Daniel Fells was trying to secure it. And the Rams have been, as we said, they've gone up and down the field on the Vikings and come away with only 3 points, while the Vikings have relatively been stalled since their opening drive of the ball game. Not taking advantage are the Rams.
Trailing 17-3. They have 2 timeouts if they can stop Favre and the Vikings here. First down pass. Oh, a nice grab up in the air. Bernard Berrien brings it down inside the 25 of Minnesota.
How about the protection and the veteran who's comfortable and patient in the pocket? Brett Favre waited for everything to clear before delivering the strike.
And the Vikings have all 3 of their timeouts. Adrian Peterson has it and is brought down right away by Laurinaitis.
That young man gets better and better with every snap, doesn't he? It was his tackle that held the Vikings to a field goal on the last drive on a big third down when he brought down Chester Taylor in the open field. Now he brings down Adrian Peterson, the best runner in the game,
also
in the open field.
An interception, Charles, of Brett Favre. Second down, Taylor makes a nice second effort to get across the 25. It'll be third down as the clock continues to run.
James Hall with the stop for St. Louis.
And the Vikings aren't going to be in much of a hurry here with a 17-3 lead. It was incumbent upon the Rams to try and get the stop, as you mentioned, in order to try and get the ball back for one more possession in the half.
Chester Taylor on 3rd and 7 in the backfield with Brett. Favre complete to Vicente Shenko. Favre goes down. Craig Dahl came from his safety spot. And the Ram defense making sure that Brett and the Vikings add nothing more. The Vikings said they had to guard against overconfidence. They got out to an early lead. Have they settled back a little bit?
Well, I think what happens is when you play an 0-4 team and you're coming off an emotional game like they had against Green Bay Monday night short week, and you get out to a fast start, a 14-0 start, sometimes you move your motor to idle, and then when you mash the gas, it might not be there. Hopefully after the second half for the Vikings and their fans, they're able to get out of idle and start moving the ball again offensively.
And let's check the numbers real quick as we see more yards, 209, but those turnovers and penalties, 3 penalties for the Rams hurt.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, the penalties, the problem is with penalties, 3 doesn't seem like very many, but it's when you get them. Drive stoppers have been the penalties for the Rams.
And helping extend drives for the Vikings. So the second half, Longwell boots it for Danny Amendola. He's been the return man all day for the Rams. Amendola all the way out near the 35-yard line and no flags. Benny Sapp, who's been all over the place in the first half, making the stop. Kyle Bowler, that one critical fumble miscue on his part that was run back by Jared Allen, 52 yards for the touchdown.
But you have to like what he's done in this game. He bounced back from that fumble, didn't allow it to take him down and affect the rest of his play. He's been pretty sharp all day long, and as Jimmy Johnson pointed out at the half, 4 of 7 on third downs. He's giving them an opportunity.
Quick pass to McMichael, maybe a yard or two. Ben Lieber there to make the stop for the Vikings. The last 3 drives, the Rams have marched inside the 10 of Minnesota. They lost one on a fumble, got a field goal, and lost another one on a fumble.
And they're doing a nice job of taking care of Kyle Bowler, giving him easy throws to complete. Randy McMichael comes down and then jumps out to the flat, but Ben Lieber's all over the play. At some point, you have to make the Vikings respect them deep.
Jackson carries. Rams opened the game with a little bit of a hurry up, and they tried to get that play moving. Try and maybe wear down this Viking defense.
Ball at the 35, third down and 8.
And right up on the line of scrimmage again, Chris. You pointed out what they did to start the game. Here they are again in the second half to start the third quarter. Not quite as quick as in the first half, but coming out of the line of scrimmage trying to hold down the substitutions for the Vikings.
Time. Bowler throws, but that's short of the first down to Danny Amendola,
Bowler's pass complete to Amendola.
who does have breakaway speed. You see him on the return game, but right there, a key play by the nickelback.
And one of the most underrated aspects of any football game is the ability to tackle in space and keep the guys from getting the yards after the catch. Benny Sapp puts Danny Amendola down on the spot short of the first down marker, forcing a punt.
Jamar Johnson back for Donnie Jones' boot. First kick today, 50 plus. Another boomer that will bounce and roll toward the 10. And a terrific kick by Donnie Jones. Viking offense takes the field with a 17-3 advantage from their own 10-yard line. Peterson's 8th carry of the game. First down.
I think we're going to see a lot more carries from Adrian Peterson in the second half. I don't think they're going to be daunted by how many guys are in the box, how many guys are mugging the line of scrimmage. I think the Vikings have spent some time at the half talking about, okay, let's get back to basics. Let's be physical. Let's run the football and get ourselves out of here with a win today.
Great penetration from the Ram defense. Leonard Little and Gary Gibson coming up with the pressure and a loss for Peterson.
Sorry, Chris, the challenge the Vikings have is that the Rams have grown increasingly confident playing the run today. Not just with the number of guys in the box, but the guys up front. The defensive front four has done a very nice job against the Vikings offensive line in taking away gaps and having their run fits for the linebackers to clean up on the tackles.
Pass complete by Favre. Bernard Berrien hauls it in. Steve Spagnuolo with great defensive schemes, and of course Brad Childress said we know his history. We know what to expect from him and his defenses.
Without a doubt, it means you're going to get a lot of blitzing, a lot of dogs, a lot of different looks. They want to come at you from all angles, and they never want to back off. You know, if you're a Jim Johnson disciple and you work there in Philadelphia with Andy Reid as your head coach, Andy was always telling you, keep it coming, keep the pressure up. Steve Spagnuolo agrees with that theory.
On first down, Chester Taylor, and the Rams are there, so it'll be second down. You talked about the Ram defense being bold. What might that mean on a second down here?
I think what it means overall, Chris, is that they feel good about how they're playing. They feel good about themselves. And they look up at the scoreboard and they see 17-3, realizing the offense just hasn't punched it in. That means they've done a nice job against the Vikings. Remember, 7 of those points don't go against the defense. It was on the fumble by the offense. So now their confidence is rising, and they have not given up a big play, per se, in the run game.
Taylor stays in the backfield on 2nd and 7. Deep for Rice. Sidney Rice in position to make the catch.
Pass complete to Sidney Rice.
Gary Gibson, the injured Ram defensive lineman. Favre heaved it for Rice, who made a nice adjustment.
Now watch Sidney Rice working against Bradley Fletcher. And look how Fletcher, he's supposed to keep his hands off him the whole way. See how he rides him at the hip? But he can't locate the football. Sidney Rice does and makes the adjustment and the catch. This is where you hear offensive coaches talk all the time. Never overthrow a deep ball. If anything, underthrow it, because they think that the wide receiver who is watching the ball the whole way will have a better chance of adjusting and making the catch versus a defender with his head turned. Gary Gibson working on the pass rush in the circle. Ball's gone. And then from the backside, Artis Hicks takes an extra shot, and Gary Gibson's leg wrapped up underneath him. I believe that's where the injury is. We hope he's going to be okay.
Had to be helped off the field as Peterson carries. C.J. Ayu comes in for the injured Gary Gibson after the cheap shot, and Artis Hicks playing on the line for Phil Lodeholt, the rookie tackle who is inactive today.
Ball was already gone. I mean, it was already left Brett Favre's hands downfield. Gary Gibson and everyone was turning to pursue the ball at that play. I think there's almost that unwritten code at that play. You really don't take the extra shot.
There was no flag on the play. Second down for the Vikings.
Second down and 6.
Brett Favre, touchdown, Vicente Shenko. There is a penalty flag down.
Offside. Defense, number 95. That penalty is declined. Result of the play, Minnesota, touchdown.
Didn't matter that Clifton Ryan jumps. Brett Favre, the touchdown toss, and with the extra point by Longwell, the Vikings can make it 24-3. Brett Favre, 473rd career touchdown toss, adding to the NFL all-time high with his offensive coordinator Darrell Bevell. And for Vicente Shenko, 10th touchdown catch since the start of 2008. That's tied for second among all NFL tight ends. Tony Gonzalez leading in that department as Amendola takes the kickoff. Stopped short of the 20.
Take a look at how the Vikings scored. I mean, they were able to widen out a linebacker, and Shenko right here goes into an unoccupied spot against the defense, and there's your touchdown. Because they had taken the fullback across formation, and he actually widened the linebacker too far. And once he widened out, Shenko took advantage and cut inside. First down for Kyle Bowler, trailing by 21.
Ball is batted away by Jared Allen.
Fuller's pass knocked down by Jared Allen.
Everyone loves sacks, don't they? But how about the rest of the things that defensive linemen have to do? Recognizing plays, getting their arms into the passing lane to knock down potential passes. Jared Allen does it all. Plays the run, plays the run better than what he gets credit for, too.
He said he likes to play the run. You just don't see those stats like you do the sacks. He's got 6.5. Of course, the big fumble run back for the touchdown in the first half. 2nd down 10. Pass by Bowler is complete to his tight end Fells. Gets across the 25-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down. Clock running here. 8:50 to go in the 3rd quarter, and the Rams, as has been the case, they hang in there, they hang in there. But Minnesota with the touchdown here in the 3rd quarter, threatening to break it open.
Yeah, they're getting to the point now where they can't just hang in there. There has to be a payoff at the end of drives for the Rams. They've blown numerous opportunities in the first half. They're hoping the second half they can change that.
3rd and 2, inside handoff to the fullback Carney. And looked like he did not get it.
Tackle by Henderson.
Mike Carney on a 3rd and 2 carry, Chris.
The crowd was wondering where Steven Jackson was.
I think a lot of people were, and Steven Jackson probably was too. I know they were hoping to fool them, but today we've seen Mike Carney carry the ball twice. Those are his first 2 carries of the season.
Yeah, 48 yards rushing for Jackson. He's been averaging today over 3.5, so that would have been good enough for the first down. Instead,
no, they were hoping that they had them in a position where they were going to fool them a little bit and get Carney sprung underneath.
Jones punt, bounces, and rolls. Hello, I'm Charles Davis, Chris Myers, Brett Favre telling us last night. He said, I feel as strong as I have in 10 years, my arm, my shoulder.
And there's no doubt about what we saw in the last couple of ball games about just how strong his arm is.
On a 1st and 10 with a 21-point lead. Chester Taylor. Will Witherspoon over to make the stop. Yeah, Favre said the surgery. In fact, Dr. James Andrews, who performed that 45-minute surgery on the partially torn bicep and the frayed labrum, he said he called him a couple of days ago just to kind of check in. Everything going well.
Yeah, everything's going great. And he said, I just feel terrific. And my arm feels great. And we've seen plenty of evidence of that.
And his excitement level, the passion that he plays with.
That's the bottom line. He still loves to play the game, and we've seen plenty of evidence of that too.
2nd down. Taylor carries. Adrian Peterson with 50 yards rushing so far on 10 carries. That's about where his average is for the game. Again, Gary Gibson out with that left ankle, questionable on the defensive line for the Rams.
But again, watch the front 4 for the Rams. The line of scrimmage is not changing or moving. Chris Long did an excellent job holding the point of attack and falling off to make the tackle. The Rams have played well all day long on defense and have had the intensity.
3rd down. It'll be a punting situation. It bounced to Bernard Berrien.
Nice pressure from the Rams. They brought a lot of people, but really the Vikings did a pretty darn good job of blocking it. Brett Favre is upset with himself because he wasn't able to get his feet reset in order to throw the pass out into the flat to an open receiver.
It seems like for years he's thrown off balance and still completed big passes. Amendola waves for the fair catch cleanly. The Ram offense will take over.
Eli ready to go there, huh?
His foot's okay.
That's a good thing, and boy, the Saints have been off to a great start.
The Rams are running here, Charles, trailing by 21.
That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, everything is not going to be a monster pass downfield. You can't get it all back, and you're down 24-3 in one big play. They're trying to probe and find things, and have to keep remembering this. They're still settling in the offensive line. They don't have great weapons out wide. Donnie Avery's a second-year man. Keenan Burton's a second-year man. You know, it's a work in progress for the Rams.
Steven Jackson as a receiver lines up. Bowler to Kenneth Darby. 15th completion out of 22 passes for Bulger, but they've used the hurry up, Charles, before in spots that it's been effective. Should they go to that here?
I'm not sure that the hurry up now will change the tempo enough for the Rams and knock the Vikings that off balance. They've seen it a couple of times already. I think they're prepared. They want to be efficient in what they're doing. I come back again. They have not really stung the Vikings deep enough to push them off. They don't respect them throwing the deep ball, and that makes it difficult.
Oh, he got knocked down and a flag comes out. Kevin Williams almost took his head off.
Hope Kyle Bowler's okay, but that'll be one of the better plays of the day for the Rams because they'll get a 15-yard personal foul on a first down.
And Mark Bulger is available to play. He threw this week, close to returning from that bruised rotator cuff.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, grabbing the helmet open. Number 93, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
And I don't think this was a penalty that's going to go down as a malicious type of a play. Watch as he comes through. He's just trying to get to the quarterback. Unfortunately, as he reaches over the top of the center, Jason Brown, trying to get a hand on Kyle Bowler, wham! And now Kyle Bowler's got to shake that off and come back. But that's a tough young man. Over 40 starts in Baltimore, not all of them pleasant.
For Keenan Burton, he'll pick up a couple. We saw Mark Bulger looking on. He also had been checked out by Dr. James Andrews for a second opinion.
Second down and 6.
It'll bring up a second down against this Viking defense.
See a lot of tight formations by the Rams and then scattering out.
Daniel Fells near a first down. Mark Bulger, the Ram personnel telling us he's close. The throwing is okay. He was more worried about, rather than hurting the shoulder, throwing was getting hit. Understandable when you line up against a Viking defense. So they hope that he'll be able to play by next week if everything goes well.
Yeah, but right now Kyle Bowler is going to make it a competition. Now, when he's been on the field, again, turnovers have been a problem, but he's helped move this ball club.
Steven Jackson carries. Kyle Bowler came in when the injury to Mark Bulger happened in the Packer game. He threw a couple of touchdown passes to Daniel Fells, and making this his second start. And when we spoke with him, Charles, he did not seem, just like Coach Steve Spagnuolo, not down. They seemed upbeat and positive about where the team was headed, the direction. They just haven't gotten the wins. Yeah,
I think that there is a new attitude here in Rams Park. All of it positive, headed in the right direction.
A deep throw for Burton. That's really the first deep throw from Bowler today.
I liked it. Why? Maximum protection. Look at everything. Look at the bunch in here, and they keep people in the block. Fells, 46 stays in before going out on a route. Good help by Steven Jackson to give him time to throw the ball. And from the tight formation, they go for the big shot on the deep flag route. They didn't complete it, but I like the idea. I like the intent, and now Minnesota has to put in their memory bank and say, okay, they might possibly do this to us. Maybe loosen them up a bit.
Keenan Burton was open. A missed opportunity for Kyle Bowler. Now third down.
There's Avery, number 17, all the way out wide.
He gets it. Maneuvers for a first down and spinning all the way to the 42 of Minnesota.
And that's what you have to do when you have a speed guy like Donnie Avery. Everyone's aware he can run fast in a straight line direction. But when you can get it to him quickly, get the ball out in the flat. Watch Fells, 46, helping set this up with the block downfield on Cedric Griffin. See how he's lined up on him right here? Watch this. Be able to just stay with him, move Cedric Griffin out of the play. Avery makes a cut to pick up the additional yardage. Get the ball in his hands quickly and let him make a few moves and get upfield.
2:15 to go in the third quarter. Bowler to throw again. Has Burton tipped away at the last moment, or it would have been a touchdown. Tyrell Johnson was back there to break it up.
Johnson, and defending for Minnesota.
That's beautiful. You talk about range, okay? Watch the range of Tyrell Johnson and where he has to come on this pass pattern. Sees it, opens up, makes the break, and knocks it away. Well played by the deep safety, Tyrell Johnson.
So it'll be second down for Bowler. Steven Jackson carries. There's room in the middle of the field. First down.
This drive is reminiscent of other drives of the Rams throughout the day. So many positives they'll be able to take away from this game, but they really would like to finish off one of these drives, Chris.
And get a touchdown. Averaging just 6 points a game. Whoa, Danny Amendola hung on in between 3 defenders. And Bowler zipped it.
Chris, this throw right here is a type of throw that so many people saw Kyle Bowler make coming out of college that had them in love with his arm and his ability. Perfect throw because you put it right in front of the numbers of the receiver, which means when he catches it, he's still moving forward towards the goal line.
4th time of the red zone, but you see the fumbles have taken away scoring opportunities. Jackson will get a couple.
Steven Jackson.
And we're inside a minute in the 3rd quarter here.
Williams with the tackle.
But I don't think if you're the Rams, you're thinking 3 points here. I think you're thinking 4 downs no matter what. They can get a first down inside the 3-yard line. But I think no matter what, you're thinking 6 points. You know, at this stage of the ball game, less than a minute in the 3rd quarter, down 24-3.
Pass is caught at the 10-yard line, but quickly run out of bounds is Amendola. That'll bring up 3rd down.
They've run a number of those plays all day, Chris, where they throw that short route. I'm thinking you're going to end up with that pump fake on the short route and try and sneak someone behind them, maybe a crosser.
That's the end of the 3rd quarter. Rams have a 3rd down inside the 10, but when they've been there before today, they have lost the handle. Trailing 24-3.
Got to purge that from their memory banks now and go to what works for them. They love this guy. There's Fells, 2 tight ends in the ball game.
Steven Jackson lines up to the left, and he had to call time.
They ended up having a guy covered up, I think. I'm not sure the formation was going to be legal, and Kyle Bowler having to take a timeout.
You need 7 men on the line of scrimmage.
See, once again, is Barron really up on the line of scrimmage? Right? And
yeah.
now once you send Steven Jackson out there, right? Too late, trying to cover him up. But that was good presence by Kyle Bowler to realize what they had.
But the timeouts are so valuable here, but this is obviously a big down on 3rd and 6 when you're down by 21.
Yeah, right now trying to get these points much more valuable than trying to save a timeout for what could happen.
This will be the 14th play of the drive, but it means nothing if the Rams don't get a touchdown.
Now it looks like they've got what they want. Now they've got what they want going.
Bowler, end zone, knocked away from Avery. Benny Sapp, the man on the spot.
He hasn't played well today, has he? He has not. I mean, Chris, you've called his name a number of times today for nice plays by Benny Sapp. He's in the slot. But watch how he falls off on this play. Reads it, now comes back underneath. He was going to sit in the short zone, but once he read the play, he falls back into the play and walks back in. Benny Sapp is a guy that they said got much more consistent in his coverage in the offseason and became much more dependable as their nickel guy.
4th down, they need 6. Bowler fakes, fires, intercepted in the end zone. Looked like Tyrell Johnson came down with it. And Kyle Bowler slow getting up at the 20-yard line.
Guys, I think that this play is supposed to be designed for Keenan Burton, but Danny Amendola ends up getting in the way. I like the call by Pat Shurmur, but watch, Amendola sits down here. I think he's supposed to sit down here. Why? Because there's a pump fake from Bowler. And see, Burton's running the deeper route. You got two guys in there, which brings extra defenders. And what ends up happening, Chris? Interception.
Favre to throw it, going deep down the sideline. A penalty flag comes out as Sidney Rice is smothered by Ron Bartell. That would drive a third time inside the 10-yard line for the Rams. 2 fumbles lost to the interception, so they come out of it with nothing. Vikings looking for the knockout punch.
Pass interference. Defense, number 24. Cut the receiver off. Automatic first down.
See, and with the intercept, what happened there with Amendola, again, I think he's supposed to sit down in a shorter zone because there's a pump fake. Fake it to the short guy, then throw it to the deeper guy, but he brings his extra defender into the play, thus the interception.
Amendola, a mid-season pickup or early season pickup for this Ram team. Part of that rotating huddle that's been a concern that the Rams have talked about as Peterson carries. Hand off to Peterson. Adrian Peterson came in. He had 180 yards in his opening game, but then down to 92 the next game, 85 the next game, and 55 on Monday night against Green Bay. And with that run getting over the 50-yard mark, but defenses gear up to stop him, so the Vikings find other ways to score.
And you got plenty of ways now, because if they're going to stack inside, Brett Favre can go to the perimeter, and he's got Bernard Berrien out wide, Sidney Rice, Percy Harvin, and Basante Shanko running in the seams from the tight end position.
Shanko with a touchdown catch already, and Peterson with a touchdown run in this game. Peterson carries again for a Viking first down.
And if you keep making those types of runs, eventually you'll see the breakout run again from Adrian Peterson. Keep throwing those body punches, and the KO comes later.
A lot of things have been said about Adrian Peterson, but Brett Favre told us last night, he said, hey, even in the walkthrough, I just went over and said, man, you're the best I've ever seen. Obviously, your career has to play out. But Brett, quick to pass out compliments for a guy like that.
And when you say that coming from Brett Favre, who's seen all these guys go through the league from all these teams, that's high praise indeed.
Clock running, Vikings moving and protecting the lead. Rams quick to try and bottle up Adrian Peterson.
You know, you hear coaches talk a lot about a 4-minute drill to try and run out the clock, bleed the clock down, and win a ball game. Well, with 12:22 to go and counting, the Vikings have started their 4-minute drill. They're trying to bleed this clock down, get these carries, eat things up, finish this workmanlike effort, and get out of here with another win. Almost impossible to come back with another emotional effort after Monday night against Green Bay.
James Laurinaitis has played a heck of a game today as Chester Taylor checks in on 2nd and 11. Brett to throw it for Shanko, who stays in bounds near a first down. You know, Brett Favre said, hey, we're undefeated, they're winless, but he remembered back the year as a Packer when he won the Super Bowl that they lost to a Colt team that was 0-10, so he wanted to keep the guard up coming into this game.
And we asked him about, hey, did you share that type of thing with the team? And he said, no, not really. I remember it. But, you know, this team is pretty veteran. This team's pretty even-keeled. The big thing is just practice the way we're supposed to practice, take care of our business. And he said he just didn't feel like he needed to say that sort of a thing with this ball club.
Yeah, he says he's not a big talker in terms of to the team. His presence in practice. Don't screw up when you go out during the weeks. Keep that same focus and energy regardless of the team you're playing, as we measure to see if the first down was made, and it was.
And what great, and the reason they got the first down, the extension by Shanko at the end of the play, able to reach out and get the ball across the first down marker. He has turned into a really good tight end.
You talk to him and a guy like Sidney Rice, they just say they are so much better because of a guy like Brett Favre. He makes all of them that much better.
If you just stay alive in your routes, eventually he will find you if you come open, or he will uncover you by where he throws the football.
Favre, end zone, touchdown. No, he's out of bounds. Sidney Rice had it, juggled it, and let's watch the feet.
See where the feet come down. There's the catch. One, and the second one out on the white. That's an excellent call by Terrence Miles, the back judge. He's right on the spot. He sees the first foot down, the second foot in the white. No catch, no touchdown. See Terrence Miles right there? He's looking right into the play. He's all over it. Well done.
The correct call, and Sidney Rice coming off maybe the best game of his career Monday night, not only catching the football, but onside kicks coming through for Minnesota. Favre to throw again. This time to Schenko on a screen inside the 15-yard line.
Schenko with the reception for Minnesota.
I just like that play, Chris. Do you know what they did? They made sure that they put the focus on Percy Harvin by swinging him all the way back around behind it. All right? Watch. Here's Harvin coming this way. So all the focus is there, and watch what Favre does. Looks that way, and then takes flow back the other way on the tight end screen to Schenko. Watch the lineman get out in front of Schenko to help him. See that? That was 79, getting out there Artis Hicks, and his 64, Anthony Herrera.
3rd and 2. Plenty of time for Favre to Berrien, who gets the first down.
Pass complete to Berrien.
Chris, that was enough time for anyone to be successful in throwing the football. You don't have to be Brett Favre on this play. You can be Johnny Backyard on Saturday. Look at what they do to clean things up for this guy.
It's a lot of time.
I might have had a chance to popcorn one out there.
We counted, what, 7 seconds on Monday night. What's average back there on a normal throw?
They want that thing gone at 3.
3? Okay. Well, he had plenty of time. 3 and then some on 1st and goal. Adrian Peterson, his second touchdown of the game.
Touchdown, Minnesota Vikings. Adrian Peterson.
Chris, that was a 4-minute drill executed starting at around the 13-minute mark by the Vikings, and they will feel very good about reviewing this drive. I mean, they did it all, whether it was a run play or pass protection. Watch the big guys up front. Sullivan right there in the middle, 65. Hutchinson, 76. Herrera, 64.
Longwell's extra point, and it's 31-3. Here in St. Louis, Adrian Peterson, AD, they call him all day because he likes to run all day, capping an 80-yard drive. Charles, you said not only chewed up some of the clock, but produced another touchdown.
Yeah, and I just think that in the second half, that's more of what the Vikings wanted to do, be a lot more physical in the run game and eat up clock.
Danny Amendola on the return, out to the 20-yard line. Now, Kyle Bowler, who got the start, shaken up. Kyle Bowler, 20 out of 31 for 209 yards, suffered an interception, but he was beat up on the last play. So Mark Bolger, coming off of his injury, the bruised rotator cuff, is in to hand it to Steven Jackson on a 1st and 10.
Steven Jackson.
So they give Mark Bolger a little bit of work, and I wonder what's going to happen next week since Mark Bolger appears to be back. Do they go back to Mark Bolger? Do they make it a little bit of a competition between he and Kyle Bowler? Because I thought Kyle Bowler gave them a lot of positives during his time on the field too.
Mark Bolger, they said this week he threw and felt a lot better. He was close, but opted to start Kyle Bowler. They also have Keith Null, the rookie from West Texas A&M, at the quarterback position on 2nd down 3. Pass complete to Avery, who fights near a 1st down.
That's a good run by
Penalty flag on the end of that.
Chris, he's going to get more yardage tacked on, but that's a really good run by Donnie Avery at wide receiver, because that play appeared to be blown up on the spot where he caught the football. Shook off a few tackles and ran with determination to get the 1st down.
Unnecessary roughness, late hit out of bounds, number 51, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
It's on Ben Lieber, the Viking linebacker.
He doesn't make many mistakes, but look, see, he shakes off Benny Sapp, then he shakes off a 2nd tackle, and Lieber finally is like, okay, I finally got you, and threw him down, and that's where the flag came in. And Ben Lieber does not make very many mistakes. A very steady sometimes spectacular player at the linebacker position is Ben Lieber.
So first down from the 46. So the Rams maybe want to get a look at how Bulger feels and how he moves the team.
Maybe knock off a little bit of rust as they bring him back.
Encroachment. Defense. Number 90, 5-yard penalty. First down.
It's on Fred Evans, who rotates in on the defensive line, along with Brian Robinson and Jimmy Kennedy. We haven't seen much from the former Ram first-round pick, who's played well in a reserve role for the Vikings.
That's what losing 20 to 25 pounds and increasing your stamina will do for you.
First down from the 49 of Minnesota. Bulger's pass complete to Keenan Burton.
Love the uniforms. That's essentially Dallas versus Dallas, because the uniforms the Chiefs are wearing today, those are the Dallas Texans, where the Chiefs began.
Chiefs looking for their first win of the year. The Rams winless as Steven Jackson carries for what looks like a first down, or at least near a first down, and Jimmy Kennedy keeps him from getting any further.
Chris, I know people don't like to hear about moral victories and trying to find the silver lining when you're down 31-3 and you're 0-4 and it looks like 0-5 staring you dead in the face. But do you feel from the time we spent with the Rams that this is an organization that is making a leap towards respectability?
As Bulger gives to Jackson, they need their playmakers and guys like Randy Michael and Donnie Avery to step up to the level of where Steven Jackson is. Now, I know Jackson had the fumble down around the goal line.
Still, he's the bell
He's the
cow.
guy. He's the guy. And they're dealing, obviously, with a quarterback change. When they signed Kyle Bowler, it was clear that he was going to be the backup. They gave Mark Bulger a year-ago lengthy contract. They believed in him as their quarterback. That's why they didn't draft DeMarc Sanchez. Instead, Jason Smith. They wanted somebody to protect the quarterback and help the run game.
But what I've seen from this team all day long, they're not playing against the scoreboard as much as they're playing against trying to get better. And no quit in this ball club, continuing to play with good intensity.
Bulger for Avery, makes the adjustment. Touchdown Rams.
Experienced quarterback Avery to the outside, working against Carl Payma, number 41, and Bulger throws the back shoulder pass, which is nearly impossible to cover because it requires stopping and coming back to the football. Very difficult for a defensive back. Donnie Avery makes the nice adjustment for the touchdown.
Bulger's second touchdown pass of the season and the extra point. Donnie Avery with the touchdown catch. First wide receiver drafted in 2008, second-year player from Houston, hauling it in from Mark Bulger. Rams' first touchdown of this game.
And that's the type of thing they want to see from Donnie Avery. Not just catching the deep ball, but able to catch shorter passes, turn them into bigger plays, make adjustments.
Percy Harvin will down it. If you're a fan of Minnesota football, as Brett will look on and see Tavares Jackson come in to run the Viking offense.
And I think it's a great move by Brad Childress with less than 7 minutes to go. This was a guy who ostensibly would have been the starter had Brett Favre not come to Minnesota.
Chester Taylor came in as the leading receiver for the Vikings with 18 catches, has had a few carries today. Tavares, who was the starter last year in the playoff loss to the Philadelphia Eagles in Minnesota.
He's a guy that people have seen play well at different times. They were wondering if this would be the year he'd make the leap and become the guy. And then the Brett Favre deal was made, and that's Sage Rosenfels, number 2, who also came over and was going to compete for the starting job. Something rendered moot when number 4 was signed.
Steve Hutchinson taking a break on the line. Brian Cook in for him at the guard spot. Taylor carries. And Chris Long making the tackle. Brett Favre, another solid performance. And just so the Vikings wouldn't let down, Brad Childress showed the team a video of Magic Johnson. The Showtime Lakers talked about teamwork and having a high standard regardless of the opponent or the record.
Yeah, I've heard that recently too. Playing to your standard. You don't worry about all the extraneous. You don't worry about the other stuff. And what did Brad tell us? If a team's good enough to win on Monday night, they should be good enough to win on the Sunday after, and he wanted to see that out of his team today.
Tavares getting some work in. Pass complete to Tahi, the fullback. And they got a lot out of that. All the way inside the 40 of the Rams. 6:15 to go here in the fourth quarter.
How happy is Nafahu Tahi, number 38? Extremely happy. Why? Normally he's a blocker. This time he gets out into a pass pattern and catches his third pass of the season. And look at all that open area for him to run.
1st and 10 for Minnesota.
So inside the 40 of the Rams, working on wrapping this up, protecting a 31-10 lead. Taylor from Tavares Jackson. Again, Brett just taken out to rest. Kyle Bowler, we assume, the physical beating along with the stress of the situation out for Bulger.
Yeah, there's a thought on the last interception he threw. He kind of came off, looked like he's laboring a little bit coming off the field. Most times when offensive linemen are trying to get involved in play calling, it's to run the football more.
Tavares Jackson throws for Sidney Rice. The catch is made as O.J. Atagwe's helmet comes off. 84 career sacks for Leonard Little, who said last time he had this uniform on, he was about 30 pounds lighter.
How about a little fire dog? And watch Leonard Little, number 91. He's just staying in coverage here. And he's going to try and run down and make the play as Craig Dahl puts the pressure on Tavares Jackson, who unloads it for a nice completion.
And those throwback unis, the jerseys from 10 years ago. Leonard Little, the only remaining member from that Ram team that won the Super Bowl. Third down. Tavares Jackson pressure. Got rid of it to Taylor. And Chester Taylor has no, he stepped out at the 3 or 4 yard line. They're marking it. And there's a penalty flag.
Defense number 43, half the distance to the goal, 1st down.
Darrell Bevel got the exact call he wanted. He felt blitz coming. Either that or Tavares Jackson checked to it, and they got all the pressure in his face. And here comes the screen because all the pressure is coming right at him. And watch. See, with all those guys coming that way, that allows the line to leak through. There's the completed pass. And then he's got himself a convoy. And there's the penalty as he gets the extra shove from Craig Dahl at the end of the play.
Also, Justin King injured, the Ram corner, being helped off the field. As the Vikings will have it all the way inside the 2.5 yard line with 3:10 remaining. As one of the Viking offensive players mentioned in pregame warmups, I hope Tavares Jackson is watching and learning from Brett Favre about leadership of this team and this offense.
I have a feeling that he is. You know, it was a real jolt to him when it first happened, but by all accounts I'm hearing he's handled it quite well and is trying to make it a full positive. And look at this, guys. Dallas, Kansas City tied at 13.
We're going to go to that game when this one wraps up. Chester Taylor. Ron Bartell with a nice stop. Dallas Cowboys will take you out there in just a few moments. But work to be done here. Chester Taylor goes airborne and no, not yet.
That's really nice of you. The Missourians still trying to recover, reeling from the week, and you have to.
Well,
nice.
I tied
nice.
that together
love you.
because because the Chiefs actually, there'll be something positive to hang on to if Kansas City could pull off the upset. And we're nearing the 2-minute mark here in the fourth quarter. Here in St. Louis, Jared Allen appreciates the mullet. No sacks for him today, but a couple of fumble recoveries, and he scored, ran back a touchdown. Great personality, who really loves what he does, has a wrestler mentality.
Yeah, and he's hoping you're going to start rocking the mullet.
The fans appreciate him for that as Chester Taylor is in the backfield. Tavares Jackson gives to him, and touchdown, Chester Taylor.
Touchdown, Vikings, number 29, Chester Taylor.
So the reserves getting in on the scoring action. Brett Favre has never been 5-0 to start his career.
Well, he's about to be, in part because the big fellas moved some people. Tahi, 38, with a lead block. Saw Artis Hicks, 79. Klein Saucer, number 40, has been around a while as a Viking, his 11th year. Still clearing openings for the running backs.
And Longwell, the extra point, is through. Brad Childress, you know, he brought Brett Favre in because he felt this team was maybe a quarterback away from the Super Bowl. I'm paraphrasing. And you talked about how Tavares Jackson had to accept his role. He's got Chester Taylor to understand his role behind Adrian Peterson. He really has handled the talent well on this explosive offense.
I think he's been underestimated as a communicator because the things you pointed out are very explosive deals. Many people thought the Brett Favre deal was dead and they were moving forward. He made the call to Brett Favre. Brett decided to play. What could have been a real issue for the team has not been one. Right? Remember, they asked Bobby Wade to take a pay cut. He took a pay cut. They cut him a few days later. They bring in Greg Lewis. Who catches the winning touchdown pass against San Francisco? Greg Lewis. Brad Childress has been masterful in rolling the dice a little bit, and it's paying off big for the Minnesota Vikings. And obviously he's communicating well with his team because they've handled all this quite well.
And Greg Lewis, you're rich enough at the talent position to have him inactive
today.
Dramatic wins the last 2 weeks. Vikings had to fight back a letdown against the winless Rams as Longwell boots it. And Amendola on the return. So the Vikings will be, as a penalty flag flies, 5-0 for the 7th time. They will start out perfect. Let's check on the flag. Minnesota leading the NFC Central, both the Packers and Bears.
Illegal block in the back. Return team, number 46. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Packers and Bears having a bye week. Meanwhile, in a few moments, we'll take you to the Cowboys and Chiefs game.
Dallas and Kansas City. How about Favre 5-0? And that game you talked about still tied at 13, Chris. Dallas KC.
And speaking of the Cowboys, we're going to be taking out to Kansas City. We'll check the standings in the NFC East, where Dallas came in 2-2 against the 0-4 Chiefs. Bulger, who had a touchdown pass on the last drive, completes the pass. And that NFC East is where Steve Spagnuolo came from as the defensive coordinator from the Giants, and before that with the Eagles. In fact, he and Brad Childress were on the '99 Eagles staff together. When Brad came to Minnesota as a head coach, he thought about hiring Spagnuolo as a defensive coordinator. Coming up, we'll get a look at Tony Romo and Matt Castle, the Patriot star of last year, running things for Kansas City. The Rams trying to make something happen after this. Will play at Jacksonville. Penalty flag flies. The Vikings will go home to play the Ravens, and then on the road at the Steelers before going to Lambeau Field.
Things getting a little spicy for Minnesota in the upcoming weeks on the schedule.
False start. Offense, number 60. 5-yard penalty. St. Louis has chosen to use their second charge timeout to avoid the 10-second runoff.
This is the Vikings' 400th win in franchise history in the regular season. 6th straight road win, and important to get them while you can, because look who's up next.
Yeah, the AFC North getting ready to present themselves on the schedule. Baltimore winning today, last I saw. Pittsburgh winning when I saw it.
And on November 1st, as Kenneth Darby carries, you'll see that game on Fox. Favre going back to Lambeau. He said some of the stress has been taken out of things because he faced his former team.
They've already met, but it's still going back to Lambeau. And for the Rams, trying to find that win in there somewhere. Jacksonville playing much better in recent weeks. Indianapolis, they're going to play tonight against Tennessee. They're undefeated thus far. Things are not going to be easy, but I do like the spirit I'm seeing from the St. Louis Rams team. This is a team that could have rolled over and died today, Chris. I firmly believe that. They didn't come close to doing that in this game.
Well, and it would appear that Bulger is comfortable enough that completion for a first down to take this team and lead this team next week and start against the Jacksonville Jags. And Steve Spagnuolo, Steven Jackson both echoed that sometimes things get real messy before you tidy up, as Avery reaches up and grabs the Bulger pass. And things have been a bit messy record-wise for the Rams, and they're hoping to tidy things up despite another loss.